3. Daniels backing up. He's just going to have to let one fly. Goes to the right side. Steps away from the defenders. Gives himself some time. Now steps up, fires. Heads towards the end zone. It is...
Kenny C back on the ones and twos with you guys. 8 weeks of football like that. What is going on? Time is flying way too fast. By week 9, it'll be November. It's got to slow down, but it won't. So you got to enjoy every moment that you have on Sunday, watching your favorite team or watching Red Zone. National Tight Ends Day. We're going to get into which tight end I think had the best performance. We also have some Cowboys and some Jets talk because they have been largely underperforming to the fan standards, to say the absolute least. And we'll also get into a Hail Mary thriller that we had in DC, technically in Landover, Maryland, but in DC. Let's get into National Tight Ends Day. 13 different tight ends caught a touchdown. 177 receptions, a National Tight Ends Day record. Thank you to George Kittle for putting that over the hump and getting that done. Wow, oh wow. The guy that I think performed the best, by the way, subscribe to the channel. Stop right there and subscribe. You thought I was going to let you get away with that? Subscribe to the channel. Hit the screen. It helps so much. Kyle Pitts, I think, had the best day on National Tight Ends Day. 2 touchdowns for the man, 91 yards and 4 receptions. And I give it to Pitts because in his 4 years in Atlanta, he's been largely underutilized. He had 3 touchdowns all of last season. He's got 3 already through 8 weeks. So let's look for Pitts to continue to build. But Cade Otton on the other side of things had almost equally as good of a performance as Kyler Pitts in terms of the red zone, in terms of finding pay dirt, because he had 2 touchdowns, 81 yards, 9 receptions, 27.1 fantasy points for Cade Otton, 25.1 for Pitts. Some other guys around the league that had big days. Trey McBride, 21.4 fantasy points, 9 receptions, 124 yards. Travis Kelce, baby, 10 receptions, 90 yards and a touchdown in the Chiefs' W over the Raiders. 25 fantasy points for that man. And George Kittle, 24.8 fantasy points, 6 receptions, 128 yards and a touchdown in the win over Dallas. Tight ends have largely underperformed this year. It's been very quiet from tight ends. But on Tight Ends Day, they have to show up and they have to show out. And that is what they did. Who is your number 1 tight end from Tight Ends Day? Let me know in the comment section below. Moving on to the next order of business. The Washington Commanders are off to their best start since 2008 when they were 6-2. Well, they're 6-2 now with a rookie quarterback at the helm, the LSU product, taken 2nd overall in this year's draft, Jaden Daniels, and the Washington Commanders are off to a hell of a start to the season. Is it time to take the Commanders seriously? My opinion? Hell yes it is. They are balling, and they're coming off a game in which had the most thrilling finish to an NFL regular season game, in my opinion, since 2015, the Motown Miracle, Aaron Rodgers to Richard Rodgers on Thursday Night Football against the Detroit Lions. That was a December game. This game ended in fantastic fashion, but you had the number 1 overall pick in Caleb Williams for the Chicago Bears go up against the number 2 overall pick in Jaden Daniels. The 2 quarterbacks going 1-2 for the first time since the '83 draft with Elway and Marino. This was a clash among the rookies, and Jaden Daniels emerged victorious, not only in the stats department, but in the win-loss column. 21 for 28, 326 yards, and the game-winning touchdown pass. He also had 52 rushing yards. On the Bears side of things, Caleb Williams continues to struggle with efficiency. He was 10 for 24 with 131 yards and 41 yards on the ground. Jaden Daniels and the Commanders were 0-3 in the red zone, so their offense kind of stymied once they got to the red zone. But when you have Austin Seibert, who's one of the best kickers in the league and probably the hottest kicker in the league right now, jacking up 4 field goals, your inability in the red zone becomes slightly less because he was still able to put up points for your team. But that defense, led by Joe Witt Jr., I absolutely love what I've been seeing from this Commanders defense. That D-line is awesome with Clelin Ferrell, with Jerzon Newton, the rookie, who was a major disruptor in this game against Chicago, and Daron Payne, and roaming the middle of the field there, Bobby Wagner and Frank Louvu, who were two awesome signings by the Commanders in the offseason. The defense looks formidable. The offense with Scary Terry and Jaden Daniels looks great. Brian Robinson is awesome in the backfield. You got Austin Eckler as your receiving threat. This Commanders team is humming right now. They are looking real good, and then we get to the Hail Mary. Jaden Daniels, like a veteran, calm, cool, and collected. With 25 seconds left in this game, he finds Zach Ertz to get a little bit of yardage. Then he finds Terry McLaurin. They use the timeout. Jaden Daniels in the last play of the game. He's moving around in the pocket. He's moving right. He's moving left. He's moving back. He's moving forward. Finally, he steps up, finds his man downfield. He tosses it deep. Who does he find? Noah Brown, as the ball is tipped off of the hands of cornerback Tyreek Stevenson. Now look at this video. Tyreek Stevenson waving bye-bye to the Commanders fans in Landover, Maryland. At FedEx Field, he's saying, hey, goodbye, see you later. We just beat you guys. Whoa, while the play is unfolding, he hustles back, and it's his hand that tips the ball up and lets Noah Brown find pay dirt. Wow, does karma work in hilarious ways. He got trolled on national television. He got trolled on Twitter. This man cost his team the game. Now, he did come out and apologize for it and say, that will never happen again. Well, buddy, you better buckle up, because you could be out of a job if you continue to pull stuff like that. That costed your team a win in the toughest division in football in the NFC North. You can't have that. Now the Bears are 4-3 instead of being 5-2 and contending with the Packers. You can't have that, man. They're 4-3 now instead of being 5-2. That's unacceptable, and that's on Tyreek Stevenson at the end there. Also, too, though, I mean, the Bears are only rushing 3. I mean, if you're going to rush 3, where's the extra guy back in coverage? The Bears didn't play that properly, is the point-blank end-all, be-all, and the Commanders get an 18-15 victory, and they're at 6-2, and they look great. What do you guys think? Is it time to take the Commanders serious? And to wrap this thing up, the last topic on my Week 8 slate here, I want to know your guys' thoughts. Who looks worse, the New York Jets or the Dallas Cowboys? Some of you out there may be saying, this is an obvious answer. Come on now. But not really when you're dealing with these two fan bases, because they both feel very strongly about their teams, and they will also keep it real with you. My boy Jay is a big Cowboys fan. My boy Chris is a giant Jets fan. They, I'm sure, would go head-to-head about this. Who looks worse, the Jets or the Cowboys? Leave it in the comment section below. I want all fans of any NFL fandom, drop your comments in the comment section below. But primarily, let me hear from the Jets and the Cowboys fans. The Cowboys are now 3-4. They dropped their last 2. The Jets are now 2-6. With Aaron Rodgers at the helm, they've dropped their last 5. I'm going to say the New York Jets just because of the expectations that were built up for this team. In the offseason, you got Tyron Smith. You got Morgan Moses. You got John Simpson to shore up the offensive line. You brought in Mike Williams as another weapon for Rodgers. Hassan Reddick, the guy didn't play a single freaking game for 7 straight weeks. This has been a colossal failure for the New York Jets. You fired your coach midway through and nothing improved. I think what both of these teams need is an entire wipeout of the coaching staff. The Cowboys need to get rid of Brian Schottenheimer, the OC. They got to get rid of Mike McCarthy, I'm sure. My boy Jay, he's been a staunch advocate for this since 2 seasons ago. Mike McCarthy needs to get the hell out of Dodge. The Jets, they need a clean house. Get Todd Downing out of there. Get Hackett and whatever the hell role they put him in. Get him out. Boot out Ulbrich. Go for a more offensive-minded coach. You have to blow it all up in terms of the coaching staff, because it has not worked. But the players, they have not been playing well. The Jets defense looks like a shell of what it was last year. And the offense, they look like they can barely move the damn ball with a hobbled 40-year-old quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has talked a lot of talk. I love the man. He was my quarterback for years in Green Bay, obviously. But the money, you got to put your money where your mouth is. And Rodgers and company have just not done that. You saw Rodgers throw the game-ending interception against Minnesota in Week 5. You saw Rodgers throw the game-ending interception in Week 6 against the Bills on Monday night, in which I was in attendance for. They just do not look good. Greg the Leg, that nickname needs to get the hell out of here because he's the worst kicker in the NFL right now. He left 4 points on the field, and the Jets lost by 3 to the New England Patriots. 25-22, you lost to the New England Patriots, one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, one of the worst, teams in the league. You booted their rookie quarterback out of the game, Jacoby Brissett. You allowed him to beat you. 34-yard reception to Booty ended the game. How the hell does that happen if you're the Jets? I don't understand how you lose that game. You want to hear an eye-popping stat for you? I'll give you an eye-popping stat. The Jets, 247 yards is all they allowed, and they turned the ball over 0 times. They went on to lose this game. That's the first time that a team held an opposing team to 250 yards, and they themselves turned the ball over 0 times. Since when? The Fail Mary. Week 3, 2012, Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback of the Packers. We don't talk about that game. But that's a pretty significant stat. You did everything right except win the football game. I think the Jets look way worse. On the Cowboys side of things, you're coming off a Week 6 blowout to the Lions. You thought maybe with the bye week, they'll get ready, they'll get prepped for San Fran. Looked like San Fran was blowing the brakes off of you for most of the game, and then you started to come back, a la CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. That is the entire offense. Yeah, Tolbert and Turpin are pretty decent, but they're not wide receiver 2 worthy, in my opinion. Jake Ferguson has largely underperformed. You brought in Zeke Elliott. What the hell was that going to do, Jerry Jones? What was that going to do? Rico Dowdle is not an RB1 in the National Football League. They have no running game. They have no weapons outside of CeeDee Lamb. You can see the frustration and how disgruntled CeeDee and now Dak is becoming. They look very discombobulated. This is a Cowboys team that they're not out of it. They're still in the hunt by every sense of that word. They are in the hunt in the NFC. The Jets, you have probably 2 more games to lose, max. And I don't even know if you're going to make it at 9-8. Back in 2008, when they had Brett Favre at the helm, they were 8-3 until Brett Favre tore his biceps tendon, and then they finished the season 9-7, and they missed the playoffs that year. You have the expanded playoff format with the extra wildcard game, but I don't even know if the Jets are going to be able to get to 9 wins. That's asking a lot for the Jets. This team is down in the dumps. The Cowboys are as well because they don't look good. They're a very one-dimensional team. They have injuries up the wazoo, which is what I failed to mention on the defensive side of things. They still were without Kalen Carson in that game. Micah Parsons in that game. Deron Bland's going to be out probably till maybe he'll play in Week 9. That defense has been dismantled by injuries. So you give the Cowboys the benefit of the doubt there and Mike Zimmer. But as a whole unit, definitely is not looking good, especially when you got the Commanders and Eagles playing the way that they're playing in that NFC East. What do you guys think? Drop it in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for football content because it's coming every single week.